Dear white people, here's a list of acceptable Halloween costumes. Pirate, slutty nurse, any of our first 43 presidents. Top of the list of unacceptable costumes, me.
Dear white people, back on Netflix. How did that happen?
I don't know. A lot of white people just asked for it, and we gave it to them.
That's what I thought.
No, I mean, you know, the movie is a multi-protagonist story. It lends itself to a TV show. We're dealing with all these different characters and points of views, but yet you only have an hour and 45 minutes, you know?
Yeah.
I was dying to get into these other stories and these other characters that maybe have a line in the movie, but in my mind, they're like fully fleshed out characters with backstories. I was just dying to get back into it. And so, you know, Lionsgate and I, we talked, they bought the film and they had the rights to the TV show, and I proposed what I thought it could be, and we took it out, and you know, people were really excited about it, and I couldn't be happier to be at Netflix. I mean, one of the things that is, to me, really cool about the show is we got a chance to really change the format of you know, a dramedy. You know, this is not a show that could air week to week. I really crafted it as a single piece that's just cut up into chapters, and really take advantage of this thing where you kind of sit down and you watch maybe 3 episodes at a time or 4,
Right.
and you know, create a show that you really couldn't stop watching. I mean, that really was exciting for me to sort of like push the medium, you know, into a different space.
I'm sure you guys can all speak to this. Has anything ever, material-wise, you ever like, oh my gosh, are white people gonna think that's okay? Like, are white people gonna be offended by this one? Or like, has there ever been like a line they'd be like, oh, are you sure about this one?
I mean, the biggest one is the title. I think I get asked that all the time. Is like, you know, there's a lot of people who have a knee-jerk reaction to the title, and you know, listen, I grew up idolizing Stanley Kubrick and Spike Lee, and you know, that sort of like tradition where if you're doing the job right, if you're telling the truth in your art, it's going to be a little divisive and it's going to be a little controversial. So yeah, I mean, I think that there's a risk that people will be put off by any number of things in the show. But my job as an artist is not to sort of coddle people. My job as an artist is to just tell the truth as I see it. And, you know, I really believe that we've made a show where just about anybody can see themselves in these characters, no matter where you stand on the ideological spectrum. And I think no matter where you are, if you're a black person that's woke as hell, or you're a Trump voter, you're going to be challenged by the show. Everyone's going to be challenged by the show, because if you're telling the truth about people and the human condition, it's gonna mess you up.
The truth hurts.
And that to me, that's the greatest thing about art. You know, Do the Right Thing is a great example. I think black people and white people alike at the end of that movie are like, wait, what was the right thing? What should I be doing? And
Yeah, I'm still not sure.
but that's what good art is supposed to do. It's supposed to push us and challenge us.
Logan, you taking over for Tessa, were you at all intimidated? She did such a great job the first time around. Were you like, oh my gosh, girl, like, you're gonna set the bar high? So were you nervous at all going into the project?
Yes to all. She did set the bar high, but she also gave me a blueprint just by being her greatest self in her performance, and so I was able to absorb who Sam is through her eyes, and then take Sam for my own, which I had to do in order to not be nervous. I was very nervous when we started because it's not easy to take on someone else's role, but like theater, anytime someone has performed a role before you, you still have to get on stage and then do your own performance.
Right.
And I enjoyed that nervous process and getting over it. And the encouragement that I got from Justin was to just be myself and to not try to continue to look to him to appease him, but just to trust my own instincts.
Very cool. And then, were you surprised when you got the call back to be like, hey, we're doing Dear White People, the TV show, come on back?
Not necessarily. I mean, Justin's idea was always huge in terms of expanding that universe of Dear White People. So it was more exciting than anything to kind of rejoin and see where, you know, Troy's journey would go. But also kind of what ideas, Justin had for just expanding the other characters and also the story in terms of these young people navigating who they are in a predominantly white institution.